Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Kolo Toure says he's looking forward to once again working with Brendan Rodgers and playing for Celtic. He was paraded as a new Celtic player today. We'll be looking back over the weekend's League Cup ties and ahead to Rangers against Stranraer tonight. And we'll also ask the question, are we in for a glut of penalty kicks this season for players pulling shirts and pushing in the penalty box? Just a few of the topics well worthy of our discussion. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. So Kolo Toure is signed. He's not out there with the party that flew out to Kazakhstan, Ruffy, because I reckon Celtic are saving their wildcard signing for that game, if at all. So he's in.
Yeah, it's a shame that they didn't get him in a couple of weeks ago and got him match fit, because I think he'd be a fantastic asset with the game that's coming up. Bags of experience, obviously a player who's played with Man City and Liverpool. Played in the Euro final, didn't he, a couple of months ago?
Yeah, he played. Andy played in the 2006 Champions League final with Arsenal.
So absolutely bags of experience, and certainly a player that they need. If they can get him fit, plus their £4 million centre half that isn't fit, I think that it'd be a great addition.
Yep, 35 years of age, 1 year deal.
Yeah, I think obviously it's a stopgap, signing, but certainly if he shows the experience and the quality that he's got, that can be extended. He looks in this day and age now, these players keep themselves extremely fit, and if he can stay away from injuries, then who's to say he might not get another year.
OK, Celtic are getting ready for their Champions League qualifier in Kazakhstan against Astana. They head out there today and they'll be getting ready for a 3 o'clock kick-off our time, 8 o'clock local time, so it won't be quite as hot as Brendan Rodgers suggested. I watched the game. I'm not really a big fan of friendlies, even if they're dressed up as an International Champions Cup, but this one was an entertaining one at the weekend against Leicester. Has Owen O'Connell done enough to suggest that he might get a central defensive slot?
I think he's done enough, but I think it would be a massive gamble to throw a young player like that into a game of this magnitude. He is definitely one for the future, but I think if they can get that wild card sign, and if it is a centre half, then obviously you would just need somebody else to go in there with them. Lustig looks the ideal opportunity to move in there. But again, it's a situation that I don't think Celtic would want to go into, a game as big as this, and not having a settled back four. But certainly the young boy proved himself at the weekend that he's one for the future.
It's funny you mentioning that it might be a centre half. I mean, I would imagine Toure will provide the central berth when he eventually is fit and available to come in, possibly at the next stage, whether it's in the Europa League or indeed the group stages of the Champions League. But there's even talk of Patrick Bamford, the 22-year-old who's at Chelsea. He's been out on loan on a couple of occasions, most notably at Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I think we're all in tenterhooks. I think a Celtic supporter in tenterhooks, what's going to happen, because I think they remember the last time they went to that part of the country, that the defence was where they were let down, at set pieces. So they'll be getting into the game, hoping they can come away with something, maybe an away goal, possibly a draw, and take it on from there. But it's not an ideal situation to go into a game with not two central defenders.
I think it's a gamble once again, Ruffy. I think it's another situation where they don't know the strength of Astana. They're apparently very good. You were about to find out in the first leg whether Celtic have gambled again at a period where they can ill afford not to have Champions League group stage football.
Yeah, it sounds a crazy situation that Toure has been. He's been freed for a long time. Obviously, Brendan Rodgers identified away 2 or 3 weeks ago that's the guy that they wanted. You would have thought, knowing the circumstances of the position of where they are in defence, that you would have pushed the boat out there rather than bringing him in a couple of days before a game. And the other thing I can't really understand is that they're saying that actually he can't play in this game, but they look as if he's going to be fit enough to play against Barcelona. So it's desperate situations. I think if they got the guy in a week ago and he proved his fitness, then he's an automatic selection for me.
Yeah. OK, over the weekend, Ruffy, I was really looking forward to getting out there to see a League Cup game, so I decided to head to New Douglas Park, and I was well impressed with Massimo Donati for Hamilton, just sitting in front of the back four, stroking passes as if he had the cigar out. He was a joy to watch, and his goal was a thing of great beauty, let me tell you. At 20 yards out, he just stroked it into the back of the net. I think he will fit in well and add a tremendous amount of experience to that Hamilton Accies side. I'm not going to tip them for the drop just yet, if at all, Robbie.
No, I think he's got quality. I think anybody who saw him at Celtic knows that when he came in initially, you know, he is that kind of player. He's got the confidence to go on the ball. He's got the confidence to spray the ball about. And in certain games, he will be a tremendous asset to Hamilton. I think against the bigger sides, you know, obviously he might have to do a wee bit more than just spraying passes about.
Yeah.
But
well, I suggested that maybe that he won't be able to lift his head as easily as he did in Saturday. St Mirren didn't get in his face, which I think Alec Ray wanted them to. They've added Georgios Saris as well, a central defender. So Accies are certainly, you know, active in the transfer market to try and avoid, you know, that poor run that they had.
Yeah, I'm sure Martin Cannon will want a good start. I think it's essential for a team like Hamilton to get a good start. I mean, we've seen it in many occasions and seasons. If you have a really bad start, if you're down there after 1 or 2 months, you generally stay there for a long, long time. So he'll have looked at his squad and he'll have looked at the seasons when they were on a good run early on. I think it was one stage they were second top in the league, you know, in one of the seasons. So he'll be wanting a right good start.
Yep, and in contrast to that, I don't think Alec Ray was too happy with the way St Mirren played. They've got a few, maybe need a few players. Ryan Hardy from Rangers has gone there on loan, which will be a bonus for him. He's constantly at this moment looking for just that wee bit of injection of quality, but he doesn't have a lot of money.
No, but I think he's the money that he has, he's invested it well. He's brought in experience there. I think it's just a matter of tinkering it here and there and getting a settled 11 in there and getting them to play with each other. Obviously, it'll take them a while to get to know the strengths and weaknesses of people round about them. But certainly, no, I think St Mirren, once they get settled, I think they'll be up there challenging for a playoff anyway.
Yeah. What did you make of your old side? You were out there on Saturday at Thistle.
I thought, you know, the same old. You know, the Thistle supporters expecting a lot more. You know, obviously went behind to an own goal, but again, Partick Thistle being Partick Thistle kept the supporters hanging on right to the end, as they usually do. But at the end, it was good. It was positive. I thought Ziggy Gordon had a good baptism. He's still charging up and down the park, which Partick Thistle supporters are used to their defenders doing. You know, it's a big part of Partick Thistle is having their overlapping defenders, and if you can come in with a couple of goals, that would help as well.
I think Lawless reckons this is the best squad they've had in quite a few seasons. Did you see signs of that?
No, I wouldn't agree with him just now. I think obviously it's early days for Partick Thistle as well, but certainly if they can keep winning, you know, and getting the confidence round about them, they've still got a lot of young players in the side as well. So yeah, I would like to think Alan Archibald would want to try and, again, like Hamilton, try and get away from the bottom and try and relax. You know, if you're up 6th place, something like that, you know, you can relax and start enjoying your football. Yeah,
if I was Paul Hartley, I would take Greg Stewart, invite him up for dinner, just, you know, say if you want to nip up to that room, there's somebody in there, and then lock him in that room, because I watched his goals, Ruffy. Boy, you know, he's carried on where, you know, where he left off last season.
Yeah, and I listened to an interview after the game, and I think, and listen to the tone of his voice, I think he really does expect something for Stewart or Hemmings. You know, I think when the window's still open, and obviously playing the way they were at the weekend, scoring goals, it just makes people aware that he is out there, and I think he'll have to deal with some kind of bid before the window shuts. Yeah.
Do you like the transfer window? Would you like to see it scrapped?
I think the supporters at the clubs would like it scrapped. You know, I think when they don't like losing players so late on, because you don't have the recovery time. If you've got nothing in place, then you're really struggling about. And these two, Dundee's a perfect example. If somebody was to come in and offer money for these two, Dundee would be struggling.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the calibre of player they'd need to try and get in that would be able to score the goals. But he was well impressive. Any of the others, of course, Motherwell. Mark McGee says he's going to announce his assistant over the next day or two. They got a good win, and Louis Moult, thankfully, back on scoring for him.
Yeah, I think Motherwell will continue where they left off. You know, obviously there was a lot of players, like obviously Pearson left, but there was obviously the disruptance of at the end of the season. You know, players asked to take a cut in wages, But I think the sensible steps were made. I mean, we had Stephen McManus in. Stephen loved the club, he loved being there, so why would he want to go somewhere else? Same with Scott McDonald.
Yep, okay. Coming up in the next part of the programme, we are going to talk about this clampdown on pulling shots, pushing in the penalty box. Are we about to see an influx or an increase in penalty kicks being awarded? We'll talk about that next. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Before the break, we were talking League Cup games over the weekend. I'll tell you one thing that's exciting about it now. If it gets to 90 minutes the draw, suddenly you're getting penalty kicks. I think the fans are warming to it.
Yeah, I think it's an always exciting way to end a game. It's particularly when you know what's going to happen after 90 minutes, and I think it's good for the players as well. I think it gives them the confidence to go up there, because there's not a lot of players like taking penalties, and you can tell them when they go up. The ones that put themselves forward. But I certainly think it's good, and it's good that the players enjoy it and the supporters have taken it on board.
Yeah, good for Cammy Bell. He certainly endeared himself to the fans with 2 really good penalty saves. Yeah,
there are goalkeepers who excel and really, step up to the plate. It's a technique. It's a technique for both the player and the goalkeeper. Obviously, the odds are stacked in the player that's taking them. But certainly, if you can psych some players out, as Cammy did at the weekend there, good luck to him.
Yep, Dundee United getting the win against Inverness. Do you think there's an art to taking a penalty kick? I noticed Paul Hartley in his after-match interview saying, well, at the end of the day, just go up there and make your mind up and go for it.
Yeah, well, it's a confidence. I've never taken a penalty, so I think it's a confidence thing. If you get somebody who's played 90 minutes and they've had a great game, you're going to go, give me the ball here, I'll take it.
Yeah.
If you've just the scenarios of you've got a recognised penalty kick taken, he's having a shocker. I don't think he's going to be that confident going up and taking it. So I think it's all about the people who throw up their hand when they say, I'll take one.
Yeah.
Then that's a confidence. I mean, we saw world-class players, particularly the Euros, missing them. So
yeah.
You don't have to be of any ability to miss a penalty.
No, absolutely. James Forrest missed one at the weekend that resulted in Leicester getting their win. And of course, once you get to the sudden death, once the first 5 confident people have all stepped up, Ruffy, it's the ones after that start to get you worried. No such problems for Wraith Rovers. They won their penalty shootout. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Gary Locke and Darren Jackson do at the Rovers this season.
Yeah, I think they're one of the teams everybody should keep their eye on, and Dunfermline. I think both of them have started well. Both of them have used the close season to bring in certain players that they wanted, particularly Wraith Rovers. I think they look really strong and really experienced, so they'll be trying to build on what they achieved last year. Just
before we talk about Hibs and Rangers, what do you make of Bobby Madden awarding 2 penalty kicks in the game against Falkirk? He actually awarded 3. One of them, it was nothing to do with pushing or pulling, it was just a blatant penalty. But the other 2, shirt pulling, 2 penalties against Falkirk. In the end, I think John Rankin after the game said, that's fine if that's the way ahead. Consistency needs to be the key. St Johnstone in the end winning that by 3-0.
Yeah, I think that's the word, consistency. I think the thing that makes everybody angry, they see one referee doing it and the other not. If we could get some kind of consistency, I think people would accept it more. But certainly pulling jerseys is, if it's in the box, it's a penalty for me.
Yeah. Pushing,
yep.
I can see a real grey. You seem fairly come back and see a real grey area.
Particularly the corner kick one is going to be crazy. You're going to have eyes in the back of your head, because now what teams are doing is they're man marking, and as soon as somebody makes a run or a burl, there's a jersey getting pulled. So the referees will have to be very, very brave. But I agree with John Rankin, if we're going to do it, let's do it, and let's do it at every game, so people know exactly what they can and cannot do.
Shirt pulling, okay, I get it. If the referees prove to be correct, he's going to, as you mentioned, need eyes in the back of his head. The pushing one, I'll tell you, that's going to be a really grey area that's going to cause a lot of hassle in our divisions.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a brave referee that sets the standard. You know, he's the one. Once it's done, then players will be aware of what they can or cannot do.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're just waiting to see what kind of game that decision is going to be made in.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you say it's going to be a brave referee. He will get slaughtered. I mean, it's a no-win situation for the refs on this one. But again, as John Rankin mentioned, as long as they're consistent with it, they'll consistently get slaughtered. I have great sympathy for them in that one, judging, pushing, shirt pulling. Maybe a different kettle of fish in the Premiership if indeed the cameras pick it up and he's found to be vindicated in his decision. Rangers. Now, I was interested to read Peter Lovenkrands reckons Rangers can make a real title challenge. Joe Dodu has mentioned equally that he has looked at this team and thinks, that they can make a real title challenge. Things like that can happen, Ruffy. The expectation level at Rangers has really increased now. Mark Warburton wants to bring in a couple of players before that window closes to strengthen even further. As you know, in Scottish football, all it takes is a wee run, the confidence goes. I think when Martin O'Neill came in, when Dick Advocaat was in charge, they said, Celtic are 3-4 years behind Rangers, and it flipped in one season. So I think it'll be interesting to see the two other players that he adds to the squad, but there's no doubt about it, the confidence is there.
Yeah, and I think he's made some very, very good signings, obviously starting with Joey Barton and some experienced players in there. He's added strikers, he's added midfield players. So on the whole, you have to say that Rangers are a better team than what they were last year. And if you go on the expectations of when Hearts came up from that division, they took everything in their stride and ended up being second, third. Rangers will be looking at that coming out of that division and saying, well, we've possibly got better players at this particular time. But you're right, when you play with Rangers and Celtic, it's all about confidence, it's all about winning games. And if you're winning games and the 50,000 are right behind you, it's easy street. It's just a couple of wee results here and then, how the fans react and what the expectations are. But as long as you're winning, I don't think there's any problem.
You see, the good thing about it, I like the style of play adopted by the Rangers players under Mark Warburton. It's easy on the eye. I mean, 3 or 4 seasons ago, it was hard sometimes to watch, Ruffy. This one is easy on the eye. There's nice passing movement. They've got players that like to get the ball down and play as well.
Yeah, I think from the goalkeeper outwards, I think he'll think he's got a player for every position. He probably has done. We know the full-backs are very, very effective going forward. Again, we keep talking about centre-halves. Maybe there's a centre-half, the big boy Hill, who's come in.
Yep.
He might be the guy who has got that solid about him that everybody can have the confidence that he's there. He's just going to go and win.
Well, he's talking the back four through the game. I mean, that's what he was there for. He's there to add his experience as well, Ruffy.
I mean, that was it. But that's why, I mean, I'm sure manager's no daft. He's looking at games. He's looking at the games they lost against Hibs in particular, and it was all right in the centre. The defence, that's the word, losing games, and so he'll be doing his utmost, to obviously build on that. But certainly from middle to front, they look an exciting team to watch. Okay, two teams I want to talk about quickly before we finish. Hibs, Neil Lennon mentioned it's nice to beat Birmingham City. Some of the second string players put their case forward. James Keating scored the goal, but I think, knowing Neil Lennon as I do, he will want to strengthen that side and really create a bit of competition. For me, I think they would be red hot favourites once it gets to the first day of the season to come up from the Championship. I think obviously he's had to deal with losing Liam Henderson, but he's added a couple of experience, again, guys that he's known from down south who are going to come up here. A lot of people aren't going to know a lot about them, but he's certainly got a real squad of players who want to build on that cup win. And certainly he needs to get off the ground running as well, and that wee win they had at the weekend might just kick them on. Okay, I'm not going to ask over the next couple of weeks until we start the season. Probably we'll wait till the end of August to offer our final tip on who's going up and who's going down. But I right now I'm looking with concern at Kilmarnock. Jim Duffy at Morton's done a magnificent job. They got a good win, and Lee Clark will look and think to himself, okay, 5 of the 11 players I signed played in that game. Not good to lose to Morton 2-0. No, I was surprised with that one. You know, I was actually looking at all the teams in the division, players coming in, players coming out. Yeah, we know he's brought in 11 players, but I looked at the 11 players and I looked at the 11 players where they've come from in England, and they all were reasonable teams. You know, obviously it hasn't worked for whatever reason, and I just thought the experience of coming from England, you know, I think would have set them ahead of everybody else, but maybe they all just need to gel together.
Yep, need to hit the ground running. Last point, nice to see David Moyes back in football, Sunderland manager.
Great, great. When we spoke to him, you know, he wanted to wait until the right club came along. I think this is a club, you know, who obviously been in the bottom part of the Premiership for a long, long time, but this could be a club, given the right amount of money and buying the right players, who could be up, I wouldn't say top 6 or something like that, but they certainly should be better than where they are at this moment in time.
Yep, he's got a 4-year deal, which, as you know, Ruffy, is not worth the paper it's written on. And David will be well aware of that. Just win, and win again. Okay, thanks very much to Ruffy. Hopefully you can join us tomorrow night again on STV. We'll be back with you at 7. Thanks for watching.